Let's move into main topic number 2, shall we? And our second main topic today gets submitted to us by David H., who writes, "Hey, John, Deadline is reporting that once again, the Oscars are facing backlash, this time from actors and directors with their no Zoom rule. They are saying that to accept an award, you have to be present in person. What do you think of this new rule? Do you think they will change it for the foreign films? Thanks." Okay, thanks a lot for sending that in, David. And this is something that's kind of came up, I think, last week. Somebody brought up to me last week when news of this first kind of came out. So, they're doing the Oscars this year, which I think is a mistake. I'm not going to pay much attention to the Oscars this year. I think it's a mistake to do the Oscars this year. I think they should have just postponed it till next year, but whatever. But it kind of came out that they're going to have a rule for the Oscars this year that to accept the award, if you win, winners have to actually be present at the ceremony. You have to actually physically be there in order to accept the award. Now, of course, a lot of other award shows like Golden Globes, like the Emmys, they did it so you could virtually come in and if you won, you can give an acceptance speech. They didn't expect you to be there, and they expected you to be there to accept the award. Now, I didn't have a major problem with that. Initially, because to me, it's like, okay, well, a lot of Oscar winners aren't there at the ceremonies and somebody else goes up in their place. You guys know how it goes. Some other actor or actress will walk up and say, "I'm very honored to accept this award on behalf of so-and-so, whoever won, on behalf of Marlon Brando or whoever else," right? And, not a big deal. But I think I've changed my mind about that a little bit. Anyway, what's going on here is that a number of people in the industry are starting to speak up and saying that they do not like this rule. This comes to us from the folks over at Variety, who writes, "The Oscars have issued a mandate that there will be no Zoom acceptance speeches during this year's telecast, but that decision is causing I always mispronounce it, consternation amongst nominees who are worried they won't be able to make the trek to Los Angeles. Studio executives, award strategists, personal publicists, and the stars and filmmakers who are up for awards this year are unhappy with the firm stance taken by the Oscar telecast producers Steven Soderbergh, Jesse Collins, and Stacey Shear. They believe that it is unsafe and impractical to ask nominees to show up in person in the midst of a global pandemic. The Academy is facing major pushback to reconsider its position because multiple nominees will likely be unable to attend. Many live overseas where COVID rates are climbing or are filming movies or TV shows in production hubs and bubbles like in Australia or in the UK." And that comes to us again from Variety. And you know what? Like I said, my initial thoughts on this was that, okay, not a big deal. If you can't be there to accept, just have somebody accept it for you. But it does kind of raise a question. We are in the midst of a global pandemic. The idea, look, there is so much about this year. That is unusual, unprecedented. You got to do things differently. The entire industry has just gone through a year like none other. It's been absolutely nuts. I get it. The Oscars don't want to set a precedent that, for future Oscar ceremonies, you can just skip being there. No. But here's the thing. By doing it this year and by allowing people to come in virtually this year is not setting a precedent for future years. Everybody understands that this was an exceptional year. This was a completely exceptional year, unlike any other. And the whole notion that in the midst of a pandemic, you're going to tell some actor, some costume designer, some screenwriter, some set designer, some, composer or whatever, who may be winning their first Academy Award, something they dreamed about the whole time, but they're in a bubble in a country where maybe the pandemic is a little bit more out of control right now, or they still don't feel it's safe or wise to gather together in a fashion that the Oscars are asking people to do. then the idea that these people aren't going to be allowed to have their moment to accept the award, to give a thank you speech. Like, listen, every time that an actor gets a role or you start writing a screenplay, everybody already starts imagining their Oscar acceptance speech in their head. And to take that away from people in an era like this just shows how absolutely tone deaf the Academy has become. Now, listen, I still love the Oscars themselves. The Oscars themselves, I still think, are the best things in the world, blah, blah, blah. Yes, but whoever the leadership is at the Academy right now, like, they're just, 6 degrees of stupid. This is the same Academy leadership that a little while ago tried to propose the idea of introducing a new category of best popular film. What the fuck is a popular film? You freaking morons. I don't even get me started on the best freaking popular thing fiasco, where the entire industry looked at them and laughed in their faces. Like that, this is the same group. This is the same group. I don't even think they should be having an Oscars, but you're not going to let people zoom in again. And I got to listen, let me be completely transparent about this. My initial reaction was big deal. Okay, you can't zoom in. But the more I think about it, yeah, it really is a ridiculous position for them to take. Because I don't like what's going to happen? The director of Nomadland, she wins first Oscar, and you're not going to let her give a speech because maybe she doesn't think it's a good idea to be there in person during a pandemic? I don't know. It seems completely ridiculous to me, as are a lot of the decisions the Academy has been making lately. So that's just my point of view. Guys, what do you think? Maybe you see this completely differently. Maybe you look at this and say, yeah, it's still not a big deal. I thought that at one point too, so I can respect that. Or maybe you've changed your mind like I have and think, no, this is really utterly ridiculous. Every other awards ceremony is allowing for this because they understand what's going on in our world right now. Why can't you? And that's just where I'm at right now. Crescentiers, where are you at right now? What are your thinking, your thoughts on this? Jump down into the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right.